Hello, for this project we studied the country of Nigeria, and the wicked problem we examined was the large amount of ongoing corruption in Nigeria. And this presentation was done by Charlie, Paulina, Destin, and Olivia.
Nigeria is a federal republic located in the Western African region, bordering the Gulf of Guinea between Benin and Cameroon. Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa. The total population of Nigeria is over 203 million people. It is composed of more than 250 ethnic groups with three major ethnic tribes: Hausas, 27.4%, Ibas, 14.1%, and Yoruba, 13.9%. There are over 500 languages and dialects in Nigeria. English is an official language. Three main religions in Nigeria are Muslim, 51.6%, Roman Catholic, 11.2%, and Christian, 35.7%. Nigeria has a high population growth rate, with the birth rate being 35.2 births per 1,000 people and death rate 9.6 deaths per 1,000 people. Nigeria is projected to be the world's fourth most populous country by 2050. There are primary and secondary schools in Nigeria. 80% of students complete 9 years of primary school. Nigeria was accredited to have 40 federal universities, 38 state universities, and 51 private universities. Literacy level among citizens is 59.6%, with male making up 69.2% and female 49.7%. Most of the people at the age of 15 and over can read and write. The age group of 15 to 24 years is highly unemployed, which makes the overall unemployment rate being 12.4%.
Although the country of Nigeria is fairly new, the area's history stretches back for thousands of years. The town of Nak in central Nigeria was once the home of a culture that existed more than 2,000 years ago, and archaeologists have found many of their clay carvings. Hundreds of thousands of years before the Nak culture, ancient people in Nigeria began making stone tools and eventually learned to farm and keep animals. In the 1600s, many Africans became victims of the European slave trade and millions of people lost their freedom. In the 1800s, the British defeated many of Nigeria's tribal kingdoms and created the colony of Nigeria and ruled the country until 1960.
Nigeria is a federal presidential republic with the president acting as both head of state and head of government. The president is elected in national elections for a 4-year term. Current president is Muhammadu Buhari. He was elected on May 29, 2015. The president's cabinet is comprised of Federal Executive Council that is appointed by the president and has to include at least one member from each of the 36 states. Nigeria is comprised of 36 states and one federal territory. The judicial branch consists of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, the Court of Appeals, high courts, and other trial courts. The legislative branch in Nigeria is bicameral, and it consists of the Senate and House of Representatives. Senate includes 109 seats, and its members are voted to serve 4-year term. House of Representatives has 360 seats, and its members are voted to serve 4-year term as well. Nigerian national flag was designed in 1959 by Michael Taiwo Akinkunmi, and it has 3 equal vertical stripes. 2 of them are green and 1 is white. The green color represents Nigeria's natural wealth, while the white color stands for peace and unity. The name of the national anthem of Nigeria is Arise, O Compatriots. It was adopted in 1978.
Next, we'll be talking about the economy of Nigeria. Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy and largest consumer base. Nigeria's economy is heavy oil exporter, and the government is relying heavily on gas and oil as government revenue. The current GDP of Nigeria is around 404.7 USD billion, with a 9.5% GDP growth rate. Naira is the currency of Nigeria and is currently at a 16.5% inflation rate. $1 is equivalent to about 361.8 Naira. The major industries that make up the country's revenue is through natural resources, industrial goods, agriculture, and even construction and real estate. There are 3 big transnational issues that are occurring in Nigeria. One transnational problem that is occurring in Nigeria is in the petroleum industry. The wealth that oil brings to the country causes civil war in Nigeria. The civil war was triggered by a secessionist movement in the rich Niger Delta drawn primarily from the populous Igbo tribe. The country is also experiencing a lot of oil theft. Estimated that around 10.9 billion in lost revenue has been due to theft. Also, there are irregular oil spills that are also constantly happening that deplete the petroleum industry. A second transnational issue that is occurring in Nigeria is refugees and internally displaced persons. Around 2 million refugees are in northeast Nigeria, where attacks and violence is happening. The violence is between displaced Christian and Muslim refugees. Lastly, a third transnational issue in Nigeria is terrorism. Two terrorist groups are in Nigeria, the Boko Haram and the ISIS of West Africa. They basically want to replace the Nigerian government and convert it to an Islamic state. Tens of thousands of Nigerians have been killed in attacks that occurred by these terrorist groups throughout Nigeria.
Understanding of leadership practice in Nigeria is specific. Basically, age indicates the level of wisdom and power. Leadership is expected to be practiced by elders rather than the youth. Thus, the potential that youth shows is not recognized and highly underestimated. Another leadership issue is that wealth defines your position in society. Thereby, such distribution creates tensions between the socioeconomic classes that corrupts the country. Nigeria is a very power-distant country that follows a hierarchical order in society. This means that figures of authority are expected to take leadership roles and give out orders.
Corruption in Nigeria has been an extremely large ongoing problem. It's estimated that about 400 billion has been stolen from 1960 to 1999 by government officials. Other forms of corruption have existed as well, with over 40% of court users being asked for bribes to expedite their case in 2012. Nigeria has consistently appeared in the highest corruption ranking of Transparency International, and in the mid-2000s, there was progress in removing corruption, but was later undone in the early 2010s. An African anti-corruption agency, Nuhu Ribadu, fights corruption in Nigeria by improving accountability measures in the government and helps reduce embezzlement. They also reduce waste in the government and eliminate opportunities to make corrupt decisions. The government is also attempting to increase quality of justice overall, with an emphasis on that for poorer people. This helps by allowing citizens to feel that their government is functioning and isn't beyond repair. There are currently anti-corruption laws in place, but many perpetrators do not fear any consequences. Our strategy for reducing corruption is a grassroots effort that involves improving life qualities, specifically that of the poor. Citizens with proper living conditions and education are more motivated, caring, and proactive, and thus will be more empowered to maintain and improve their lives and eliminate corruption. Our solution is an adaptive one because there is no magical switch to flip to improve life. Technical approaches can be taken in some areas to achieve this. However, their overall application must be finely applied and balanced to be effective. A productive use of this effort isn't textbook, so it will take an especially socially competent leadership push to work. Our strategy will be focused on areas that will snowball to a healthier, more engaged society. To achieve this, we will focus on three major early areas such as youth empowerment, educational improvement, and reducing unemployment. Implemented properly, these will provide a strong base for the citizens of Nigeria to grow from and eventually having the power to take the deeper issue of corruption into their own hands. Youth empowerment will instill passion, motivation, morality, and work ethic into the population. To create passion, we will focus on magnifying an already existing source of sports. Many Nigerian youth participate in sports, specifically football, basketball, and running. Helping these can be done by improving programs that encourage participation. By placing motivated, passionate individuals into these programs as leaders, they can grow to include more youth. Improving educational opportunities will be a challenging but powerful strategy in aiding our efforts. In the current cultural climate, only 62% of children are able to attend primary school. Thus, it will be important to incorporate those unable to attend by increasing accessibility. Employment improvements will help raise the average status of the population. Interestingly, opportunities for high-skilled employees aren't lacking, but rather the lower, and the Nigerian population tends to lean towards high-skilled backgrounds. Reading the cultural landscape implies that a focus on the lower level is necessary. Factoring this in, strategies to target low-skilled job creation can be initiated. All of these strategies will need to be implemented tactfully. There isn't an easy, guaranteed path to accomplishing any of them. Our proposed strategies should be implemented slowly so the impacts can be evaluated, as well as citizen reaction and approval. By creating an environment of improvement for empowerment, the newly strengthened population can recognize, punish, and then prevent further corruption.